everyone, it's Chris Bennett, Blockchain Beard Guy here. Hope you guys are doing good. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about one of Amazon's new offerings. You may have caught this in the news a couple months back. Amazon announced a couple new blockchain-ish offerings. The first was very exciting. They're going to start providing hosted blockchain services, primarily around Ethereum and Hyperledger, but it sounds like it plans to expand that out to other different platforms. So that's just tremendously exciting, I think, to see a player with the size and magnitude of Amazon get into hosting. It says a lot about the future of blockchain. The other announcement Amazon made, and this got a few folks kind of upset, was about a new product offering called QLDB, or Quantum Ledger Database. And there were some folks in the blockchain community who got kind of upset about this because they feel like maybe it's an overly centralized approach, or kind of a misuse of some blockchain-esque technologies. Personally, I couldn't disagree more. I'll tell you a little bit about what QLDB is in a minute. But I just want to make the point that I think it's really important as a solutions architect that you think of yourself a bit like a mechanical engineer and their box of tools. If you think about a really good mechanical engineer, chances are if you look in their toolbox, it is jam-packed with all different kinds of tools. Tools you've seen before, tools you've never seen before, probably several different variations of each type of tool. That is because a good craftsperson, a good mechanical engineer is someone who understands that each tool has their purpose, and that really the skill or the value that they bring isn't owning all the tools, but it's knowing what each of those tools do and the appropriate time to use each one in order to accomplish certain things. These technologies are no different, and when you see them in that light, you can kind of start to appreciate the foolishness of thinking that one technology is better than any of them all. They're just different tools, right? That good engineer would never favor one tool in his or her toolbox over all the others. That would just be foolish. So that's my take on QLDB. Let's talk a little bit about what it is. Amazon's Quantum Ledger Database, like the name implies, is a traditional centralized database. But what they've done is they've added some cryptographic linking in there. So just like on the blockchain, we document a number of transactions on a block, and then we generate a hash, or a unique identifier for that block. A digital thumbprint, it's often referred to. And this hash, or this code, is generated by the data, by the transaction information in the block. So if we go and change any of that information, we're going to change that identifier. Well, that identifier is then recorded in the header at the very top of the next block. And that block fills up with transactions, and then we hash it and get a unique identifier and put that at the top of the third block, and we keep doing this. And we link all our blocks together so that if any transaction is ever changed, we break those links, we break those identifiers, and it becomes very, very easy to see that something has been tampered with. Well, Amazon is taking the same approach with a centralized database, grouping database transactions together, generating a unique identifier, and using that unique identifier as part of the data for the next group of transactions. So it's a bit like a blockchain, except it's not distributed, it's not decentralized, it is meant to be a centralized solution. Why would something like this be valuable? Well, one of the biggest values of blockchain is that it's shared infrastructure. It's a shared service. It's not owned or controlled by any one particular entity. In the case of public blockchains, the ledger is shared with everyone in the world, everyone on the internet. In the case of private permission blockchains, we're sharing that ledger, those resources, that infrastructure with a much smaller audience, a trade network, a consortium. But in both cases, we're talking about sharing this infrastructure and this ledger across multiple parties. Well, sometimes you don't need to do that. Maybe you need an IT asset just to support your own organization, just to support business processes which are confined completely within your organization. You could use a regular database, but what QLDB does is it gives you a little extra assurance that the information recorded there hasn't been changed, hasn't been tampered, hasn't been altered with. And this can be a real value add for internal business processes that are subject to audit, either internal or external audit. You can show your auditors not only, hey, here's our record trail, but here's a little extra proof that we have that these records are valid and genuine and have not been tampered or altered with. So I think it's just another really interesting tool in the spectrum of tools that we have for those use cases when you need something just a little bit more than a database, but a full-blown blockchain or decentralized solution isn't the right answer. So I, for one, am very interested to learn more about QLDB and see where it goes. So stay tuned. As I keep learning more, I'll share it with you guys. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Until next time, this is Chris Bennett, your Blockchain Beard Guy.